Captain Maddox was a man of ledgers and logistics, not legends. His world was one of tonnage, trade routes, and tides, a world where every risk was calculated and every profit was planned. His ship, the Starlight Mariner, was a sturdy, unremarkable merchant brig, and he preferred it. The offer came on a rain-slicked afternoon in Lisbon from a man named Silviano Reyes. He was a minor official in the Portuguese customs office, a man with tired eyes and ink-stained cuffs. The job was simple: transport 12 sealed oak barrels from Lisbon to a private dock in Bristol. The payment, however, was anything but simple. It was triple the standard rate. Reyes explained it away as sensitive agricultural samples requiring discretion and speed. Yora's first mate, Liam, a pragmatic Irishman with a nose. But the money was a siren's call. Yora ran the numbers. This single run would cover his operating costs for 6 months. He signed the contract. The loading was done at night, under the dim glow of shielded lanterns. The barrels were heavy, unnaturally so, and they emitted a faint, earthy smell like damp clay. Something else, something metallic. They were stowed deep in the hold, and the Starlight Mariner set sail on the evening tide. The trouble began on the third day. First, the crew's fresh water began to taste of salt, though the casks were stored far from the barrels. Then, the ship's compass began to swing lazily, as if bored with pointing north. Liam reported that the rats, usually a constant presence, had vanished from the hold. A deep, unnatural cold began to emanate from the cargo, seeping through the deck planks until the crew could see their breath below decks. Yora, a rational man, sought rational explanations. He checked for leaks, for spoiled food, for magnetic interference. He found nothing. The tension aboard the ship was a physical presence, thicker than the fog that now clung to them. The men grew sullen and nervous, casting fearful glances at the sealed hatch. It was Liam who forced the issue. One night, with the fog so dense it felt like they were sailing through wool, he confronted Yora in his cabin. "This is more than strange cargo, Yora. The men are spooked. I am spooked. We need to know what we're carrying." Reluctantly, Yura agreed. They waited until the middle of the watch, then slipped into the hold with a crowbar and a single lantern. The cold was intense, a damp chill that went straight to the bone. The metallic smell was stronger here, mixed with the cloying scent of wet earth. Yura positioned the crowbar under the lid of one barrel and leaned his weight into it. The wood, swollen from the cold, groaned in protest before the lid gave way with a splintering crack. They both stared into the barrel, the lantern light wavering over its contents. It was not soil. It was not agricultural samples. It was a compacted mass of dark, silvery gray sand. Liam reached in, letting a handful of the granules trickle through his fingers. "What in God's name?" Yura, his blood running colder than the air around them, knew. He had heard tales in the dockside taverns, whispered stories of a clandestine trade far more lucrative than spices or silks. He dipped his fingers into the sand and held them up to the light. Tiny, glittering particles clung to his skin. "It's ore," Yura whispered, his voice hollow. "Unrefined silver, or from the Potosi mines." Liam stared, comprehension dawning. The Potosi mines in Spanish Bolivia were the crown's most guarded possession. Smuggling this, or was not just illegal. It was an act of economic treason against the Spanish Empire, punishable by a noose or a firing squad. The metallic smell was the scent of raw silver. The cold, the compass, the tainted water. It was all superstition, of course, but the fear it bred was very, very real. Their discovery changed nothing and everything. They couldn't turn back. They couldn't jettison the cargo. Reyes would have them killed for failing, and the Spanish would have them killed for knowing. Their only choice was to see it through. The rest of the voyage was a waking nightmare. Every ship on the horizon was a potential Spanish warship. Every change in the wind felt like a portent of doom. Yura didn't sleep, his mind racing through scenarios, each ending with his ship seized and his crew in chains. He was no longer a merchant captain. He was a mule in a high-stakes game between corrupt officials and a hungry black market. They made the drop in Bristol under the same cloak of darkness that had seen them loaded. The payment, a heavy chest of gold coins, was handed over without a word. There was no satisfaction in it, only a profound, bone-deep weariness. A week later, back in Lisbon, Yura read a small, buried paragraph in a shipping gazette. A Portuguese customs official named Silviano Reyes had been found dead in an alley, the apparent victim of a robbery. The article mentioned an ongoing audit of the customs house. Yura never took another special cargo. He went back to carrying wool, wine, and timber, and he slept better for it. He had learned that the most dangerous ghosts were not the kind that haunted ships, but the ones that lived in the hearts of greedy men. The Starlight Mariner eventually lost its chill, but Captain Maddox never forgot the cold, metallic taste of fear or the crushing weight of the Lisbon cargo.